Hello, Knockouts. We're reading another Reddit post, and I'm going to have to issue a trigger warning for anyone who has recently undergone surgery and has had to deal with the aftermath of feeling helpless, vulnerable, etc. Because it took me a few days to read this one because it enraged me so in my spirit and triggered my own PSD from my recent surgery. So let's jump into it. Am I overreacting that my husband ate all my food? So I just had surgery on my stomach and intestines almost 2 weeks ago. Because of the surgery, I've had to adhere to a very strict diet until I'm fully healed. If I stray from the diet, it could cause severe complications and possibly lead to death. I need you to remember that, because how many of you think that she had this conversation with her husband about the fact that straying from this diet could lead to her death? And then you'll understand the information that I'm giving afterwards. Okay. So for the first 2 weeks after surgery, I can only eat/drink a full liquid diet. The most solid thing I can eat is pudding. I can't even have soup with any chunks of veg or meat in it, even if they're soft. So there's a lot of variety to choose from. And there's not a lot of variety to choose. Let me start that again. So there's not a lot of variety to choose from, and I'm not having a good time at all. Plus, I'm still having pain from the procedure and some nausea, and I've had to go in for IV fluids and iron twice now. Prior to surgery, I meal prepped for myself and for the family so I wouldn't have to worry about it after. I made meals for myself for every stage of the diet and with specific macro ingredients to meet my needs and comply with other health problems. For example, I have celiac disease, so everything has to be gluten-free. I also follow a low sugar/low carb diet, so everything had to comply with that as well. I also made meals for him and our son, meals specifically requested by him. I stocked up on snacks they liked and asked for. We also have a fairly strict budget. I want you to pay attention to that. We also have a fairly strict budget right now, so I made everything from scratch to save some money. About 1/4 of everything I made is in the freezer attached to our fridge for convenience sake. The rest of it is in the deep freeze in the garage. So most of the meals in the house freezer are gone, so I went out to the garage to restock. All of the meals I made for myself are gone, just completely emptied out. I'm really upset. I have no energy. This is triggering me because I remember. I'm gonna be right back. For those of you who have had surgery and you know 3 months ago I had a big one, and you know what it's like after surgery. You're not in your right mind. She had to get iron infusions, so she lost a lot of blood. Like I had to get a transfusion. I got iron infusions just so I could have the amount of energy that I have today, and I'm still not 100%. I know what it's like to be vulnerable after surgery. So let's jump back into it. I'm really upset because I have no energy right now to make more. Living off of liquids and having anemia will do that to a person. My diet is hopefully progressing to soft solids tomorrow, so I was really excited to be able to eat some of the food I'd made. I'd asked him about it and he blamed our son first, which I know is BS because the kid hates all of my special food with a passion, LOL. There's no way he'd be sneaking my food, so I questioned my husband again. He admitted to it, said he'd been taking my meals to work as his lunch because he was quote unquote too tired to make his own lunch before work. He has always made his own lunch up until now. He also said he was quote unquote bored with the lunches he made and my food provided quote unquote variety. I am exhausted. This recovery period is kicking my ass. Before surgery, I ran a mile a day. Now I barely have enough energy to walk up the stairs. I'm not supposed to lift more than 10 pounds. I'm not supposed to do anything more strenuous than walking. Even taking a shower is tiring right now. The anemia, dehydration, and lack of proper nutrition is making it worse. So when he admitted to taking my food, I just started crying. He hasn't been much help after surgery. My son, 11 years old, has been doing all the lifting for me and helping with the chores and cooking. When I started crying, he got disgusted and told me I was overreacting and being a baby. He refuses to make new meals. He refuses to help me make new meals. He says it's been almost 2 weeks and I should be able to do stuff on my own. At this point, I'm seriously considering divorce. I mean, my son and I are already doing everything on our own already. And I know my kid won't eat my diet food. Am I overreacting? Also, I just found out he's raided my non-perishable food stores in the pantry. It was mostly sugar-free Jell-O and pudding, stuff I can eat on the liquid diet. Pretty much everything is gone except for some sugar-free orange Jell-O. TDLR, I guess that's the long and short of it. I am on a special diet due to health issues and recent surgery, meal prep for myself and for the family so I wouldn't have to deal with it while recovering from surgery. My husband ate all, and I don't think he ate it all. We're going to talk about that. Ate all of my diet food without telling me and says I'm overreacting for being upset. Am I overreacting? We'll be right back. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tanya TKO. I'm a self-love specialist, and I react to viral content showing you all what are the self-love lessons in there for you and your takeaways. If you like my videos, subscribe to me on YouTube. That's where most of my videos are done. This really triggered me because 3 months ago I had a really big operation and I was very vulnerable, and some things happened in my own family that shifted some of the relationship dynamics. And I remember what it's like to be vulnerable, to be weak, to not be able to fend for myself, and to be put in a position where I had to fend for myself, right? And I had to advocate for myself. Listen to me when I tell you this part. People can say a lot of things, but their actions will always give it away, especially if you've spoken to them about what you need. Now listen, I'm not saying everybody knows exactly how to treat you and no. When you speak to people about your needs, how you need to be loved, how you need to be spoken to, how you need to be treated for you to feel loved, for you to feel supported, for you to thrive in that relationship, and they do something else, they are communicating something to you. Either they don't care or they don't care about you. Number one, let's take a vote. Put up a number one if you think the husband ate those meals. Put up a 0 if you know or feel that he threw them away or discarded them because he's communicating his disdain for her through his actions. I want you to remember that everybody gets married for different reasons, and for some people, you are what they settled on. They settled for you and they have resentment. They are upset. They have... You know what? This recording is about to end. We're almost at our 10-minute maximum, so meet me in the next video where I break this all down. This is part 2 of Am I Overreacting? My Husband Ate All of My Food, which is about a woman who went into surgery and she meal prepped before the surgery, and her husband... the husband says he ate the food after she quizzed him on it. All of the food is gone. I don't believe personally. Actually, I'll let you all vote If you believe that he ate the food, put up a 1. If you believe that he threw the food away or discarded it some other way, put up a 0. There are just too many clues here. So if you haven't seen part 1, go and watch part 1. I read the entire Reddit. In this video, I'm giving my personal take. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Tanya TKO. I'm a self-love specialist, and I help you analyze viral stories for the self-love lesson for you in there. And for this woman, the self-love lesson is to pay attention to what is. People will say a lot of things, but their actions will show you. And different people get married for different reasons. And for some men, you're not their dream girl, and they resent you for not being their dream girl because they didn't have enough money, or they weren't swagalicious enough, or they weren't handsome enough, or they weren't in the right area, or didn't have the right job, or didn't have the right access. You have to remember the way our societies are set up. They're set up, the way that the patriarchy is set up is that it promises each man this marry maid that's going to come into his house and do all the cooking and cleaning and birth his children and take care of everything and make everything all right for him. They also now are positing that there's this ability that you can, get this elusive dream girl that all the other men want, but you're able to get her because you have a certain amount of money or swag or 6 feet and 6-pack and 6 abs and 6 figures and all of this other stuff. So there are a lot of men who are walking around now and before who are feeling, oh, because I don't have these things, I would have never been able to get that dream woman. So they're looking around, swiping and on these apps, looking on Instagram at all of these beauties with filters on, and they're looking at you. There are studies that have shown. So they questioned men about how they feel about their partner. This was done like 30 years ago, so I'm sure it's even more intense now. How they feel about their partner. And then they showed the men images of supermodels in magazines that were airbrushed, etc. And then after, they quizzed the men again about how they felt about their partner. And after seeing the images of these available, beautiful women out there, the men's feelings about their partners plummeted. And I can only imagine what it's like now with all of the Instagram models and all of the surgery that's going around and all of these filters and all of this stuff, right? So you have to remember that just because a man, like they act like marriage is the prize, like, oh, a woman is a woman, you have to get married if you can't keep a man, and blah, 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 that's the end goal. They never talk about a happy marriage. They never talk about what comes after the ceremony. And for far too many men, what comes after the ceremony is your indentured servitude. And because of the way that the patriarchy is positioned, your labor is invisible. This woman said she meal prepped. They're on a budget. She had to make the stuff from scratch. She got celiac disease. She's on this low fat, low sugar, all of this other stuff. I don't believe he ate this because this stuff doesn't even sound like it tastes good. She said that she made his meals. Not only that, do you believe that she told him beforehand, listen, if I don't adhere to this diet, I could die. If you believe she told him beforehand, put up a 3. If you believe that she did not inform him, put up a 0. I can bet that she told him how important these meal preps were. And you know how a lot of these bloggers are saying, oh, he's trying to KIL, he HAT, you, all of that? I'm saying in this video that I believe that this husband is deliberately trying to take his wife out of this life, trying to unalive her passively. When she went, now listen, she had meal preps for all the stages for months frozen. All of them are gone. All? Lady, if you see this video, it is time that you start doing what is right for you. Your husband has said that he refuses to make more meals. When you began to cry, he got disgusted. It is embedded in human beings to have a feeling of protection over those who are smaller and weaker. right? So this is why we have an affinity for watching these cute little cat videos and watching babies and stuff, and why we get this feeling of protection, especially as women, right? But some men in their patriarchal thinking, they feel that they are, number one, owed this indentured servant, so they do not have the gratitude, and they blame you for their plight in life rather than doing what it is that he needs to do for himself. Like, if he doesn't want you, please go. But no, data shows that by and large that men will endure, that they will be unhappy, and they will just endure never going after their happiness and silently resenting you and sometimes even hating you in these relationships rather than leaving. That they will do things with their actions to make you leave, that they want you to break up with them, so they are doing all the things. Lady, how much more? All of your meals are gone. He refuses. Now, was he apologetic? Was he like, oh my goodness, my bad. Let me do what it is that I need to do to replace these. Let me apply for a credit card so that I can get you the meals that you need so that you can live. No, he didn't do that. What he did was he got disgusted, and I know what it's like because I just had my surgery 90 days ago. For somebody to look at me and tell me that I should be better by now. It's been 3 months. I just went to the hematologist. I'll do an update video for you all on YouTube, but it's not the information I'd hoped for, but it makes sense. So with her having to go in for the iron infusions, I know she lost a lot of blood. She says walking up the stairs is hard. Her son, the 11-year-old, is doing the heavy lifting. The data shows that when women get married, that their labor in the house does not decrease by half. In fact, it goes up, because now she's taking on the additional labor of having to look after and clean up after the husband who got you as a married maid. His tasks go down, yours go up. She said that her and her son would probably be better off. You know how many women go and get divorced and just go live with their children because of the impediments caused by their husbands, and now that they're free of it. Not only that, I can only imagine what other type of mental duress she's under. At least if it was just her and her son, some of the labor would be reduced. Like she said, her food wouldn't be eaten. She wouldn't have to deal with the denigration and being talked down to. And what else? Oh, that's pretty much it. I gave all of my points, and I want to hear some of yours. Because some of these men, you know what? I'll leave that for you all to add as the addendum in the comments, because I know what I want to say, and it's pretty much some of the other things that you have been hearing. So if you haven't heard me say it in this video, please comment it below. Tanya TKO, and I am out. Peace. Go out there and love one another, but most importantly, what? Love yourself. And please type and tell me, what are your SLLs, your self-love lessons from this particular videos about ways in your own life. I know for me, my self-love lesson is that I did the right thing by advocating for myself and by putting myself in a place where I could rest after my surgery. Because listen, it came to a point where I was hoping that they would admit me into the emergency room just so I could stay in the hospital and sleep. If you are in a position where you're hoping that something happens to you just so you could get the chance to rest, do what you need to do to get that rest right now without the injury. Comment below.